Thank you for landing on Planet Xbox. You are now rocking with the Inner Circle, and this is your podcast, for fans, by fans, so salute to you, the mighty, mighty X units. I'm your moderator, KO Wall Straight Murder, with Bmuny and Unified, and together we are the Inner Circle. Now it's time for our TikTok pod shots. Xbox, you're on the clock. EA has released Need for Speed Rivals this week in the vault for Microsoft exclusive game app EA Access. With the recent confirmation from EA that games released in the vault won't be removed, some gamers will see their digital games libraries expand very quickly. The service is starting to pay off, and with franchises like Dragon Age, Star Wars, and Mass Effect under their belt, expect the service to show phenomenal value in purchasing an Xbox One console. The release of the most anticipated game of this year, Destiny, will be out next week. Both consoles have had the pre-purchase feature added for the game, but will we gamers be able to play at midnight? The word in the industry is that Bungie won't turn the service on till the following morning around 7 a.m., so not to allow any reviews until complete launch. It doesn't show much confidence in my opinion, or an incentive to pick it up at midnight considering it's unplayable till morning. And finally, Tokyo Game Show is around the corner, but unfortunately, Microsoft's presence won't be felt this year. I've heard they plan to pull a feed show like Nintendo Direct at E3. I think it's a bad move, especially considering the recent launch in Japan. Hopefully the show will have some surprises as well as exclusive games that can head west at a later date. And that's it for our TikTok pod shots. So as you know, guys, it's been a minute since the whole crew has been back together. We've had a few guests over the last couple of weeks. Kate, Alex for the fan topic. We also had Xbox Mad on, Hooksan, and Jez on the last two specials. So, you know, we're back together. And we're ready to rock this thing out. We got some cool topics for you guys to listen to this week. So let's jump right in with the fan topic for the week. Unified?
What's up, everybody? It's TiC Podcast Poll Time, the Xbox family. I want to give a shout out to all you fellow Inner Circle followers and listeners. We value your feedback and thank you for taking your time to give it to us. With Gamescom just passing by, we only did one poll for the highest voted fan topic, and here are the results. What shall the Inner Circle talk about in this podcast? And the winner was, should Xbox offer lower prices digitally versus retail to sway people? So that's it.
That's a good. Yeah, that's a good topic. I think that's a great talking point. I mean, clearly we want digital to go down in price. You know, Microsoft's and most companies claim is that it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's I guess you could say it's a competition thing when it comes to pricing. I guess it's like if the prices aren't high or the same as retail, then everybody will buy digital and it will put a strain on retail. But I think that I don't think that's true, because with digital games, you can't trade them in right now. You can't do anything with them. Once you have them, they're yours. I think there's a flaw in that logic. Yeah, $10 off is great. I think more people would buy digital, but I don't think that it would be the end of retail. I look at it from this perspective. I want to pick up Destiny. I'm actually in a conflict right now. I want to pick up Destiny, the Guardian Edition for $89.99 digital. But you know, I've read recently that there will be more than one Destiny game over 10 years. It won't just be this one game. So do I buy this game digitally and then they come out with another version in 4 years or 3 years or whatever the time frame is that they have over this 10-year period that they have with Activision, and now I have to buy another game digitally and I'll never go back to the original game? It's not like Mass Effect where you play game 1 and you do something awesome in it, or you want to change something in it because it transfers over to the story in game 2. It's not like that. So I don't know. You know, obviously I think digital is the future. Discounts would definitely be the right thing to do, and they've been doing that with Games with Gold, with some of the discounts that they got coming out. But I think that Microsoft should give us discounts on it, and they shouldn't be too concerned with what's going to happen with retail games. What are your thoughts on that, Bmuny?
my thoughts on it is that when it comes to the retail portion of it, that just comes down to the relationship portion.
Right.
I don't really think it has anything to do with the pricing itself. But when you come to advertising, especially for a holiday season, you want to have those partnerships, you want to have those relationships in place. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to tamper with that, because most consumers will go to the retail establishment.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? To purchase the console, purchase the game, purchase the accessory.
Right.
So you gotta keep that relationship going. And I think if they permanently made digital games cheaper and people started converting to that, then you'll see less retailers actually supporting the gaming company. But as far as Microsoft, you know what I'm saying, offering lower prices on digital merchandise, I think what they're doing right now is good as far as offering different discounts each week. But one thing that I did mention to Phil Spencer before is if they made $100 Xbox Live membership yearly subscription, and in that subscription maybe you get 10 to 15% off, or 15 to 20% off every digital merchandise that you purchase. And then maybe you throw in Xbox Live or the Xbox Music subscription, and maybe like one digital movie a month.
Right.
You create that value to the customer, you know what I'm saying, to the consumer, and they kind of understand why they'd be paying $100 a month, because if you
$100 a year. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, $100 a year. And then they kind of see the savings as they buy more digital merchandise. So it's not a big of a deal to them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we'll see if they choose to do something like that. I think that would probably be the best option, and then that way they can actually keep the same relationship with retail, and you know what I'm saying, have the digital go the way they want it to as well.
I thought about that too, and I was saying to myself, what would be really awesome, and maybe some people might not like it, if they raised the price of Live but gave you access to more stuff. Just bundle everything in. Look, we know sometime in the future Activision is going to come out with some type of digital service like EA's, which right now is starting to pay off. I mean, the Madden demo, you have the NHL trial coming out. The Madden trial, the NHL trial coming out. I just downloaded Need for Speed today. I've never played Need for Speed. I didn't buy it. And I downloaded it today and was actually having fun on the game. It's a little repetitive, but I had fun on the game. It's just, you bundle that with, like you said, let's say Xbox Music, a free movie, 10%, 15% off digital downloads, maybe take $10 off. Maybe first party titles would be $49.99 instead of $59.99. I mean, and you give that to us for the year for $99. That is gold. Now that is games with gold. That is gold. And I would purchase that, and I'm sure a lot of other people probably would too. Unified, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, man, I agree with both of you guys. I really like what Bmuny just said about, raising the price of Xbox Live yearly subscription. Maybe not quite 100. I don't know. Whatever Microsoft sees fit can it's going to benefit all the parties involved. But I think Microsoft obviously is pushing. They're trying to push digital. They're trying to find any way and every way to do it. Right.
Right.
With this Forza 5 thing going on, all the gold games with gold stuff.
Right.
The preload stuff now. They're trying to get into that with the digital.
Mm-hmm.
So. They got to find some way to sort of combat that, and even more, I would say, by offering, $5 off digital games versus retail. If it released at retail, then you can get it digitally if you don't want to buy retail, and you get $5 off.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying they should do it across the board, because that would take EA, that would take all of them having to agree to something like that.
Right.
So, I think you got to look at Microsoft stepping up to the plate.
Exactly.
They're the ones that have to lead the charge.
Exactly.
So if they start doing it with their games, see what kind of response they get, you start seeing a higher percentage of people starting to buy the first party titles from Microsoft on Xbox Live.
Right.
versus going to GameStop or whatnot.
Right.
So, it's all up to them. They got to take the step, and I think it needs to happen. I mean, because, obviously it is a better medium digitally than to go into the store and buying the physical disc, and some people would probably disagree with the current state as it is, and I honestly can't really argue that too much. But if you start giving people reasons with those $5, $10 possible discounts, man, it may start to add up and look more, a lot more appealing in the future. So, that's what I think, man. I know there's on the other end, on the back end with retailers, that may create some kind of rift, but I don't think so, man. I don't think so. If Microsoft themselves can take that risk, they're not. And it's not like they would be asking EA or Ubi or any of these other third-party developers and publishers to take that risk immediately.
Right.
Just kind of like as a trial run. Just try this out, see what happens with it. And I didn't like, Bmuny said he likes where they're taking it already. I agree, but I think it may be leading possibly to that point, and let's hope it does, because I think that it will definitely catch fire to the digital distribution part. Right. So
I'm gonna tell you right now, man. As far as digital, it's been a phenomenal week for Microsoft with the things that's been released. I don't have a PlayStation 4. I plan on definitely getting one, but I played Warframe all week, and the controls are a little weird at first, and thank God you can edit those, and it's a little glitchy. But for the most part, I had a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun with the game. I love modding. I love the whole RPG aspect to it, and it's a really good game. That released on PlayStation 4 first, and I'm glad that we got it. But you look at that. You look at if you have EA Access, Need for Speed has just now been released digitally. Microsoft just gave us Forza 5 for the weekend, starting Thursday at midnight all the way to Sunday at midnight. You got Minecraft that was just released on Friday, today I believe it was, or last night, for $5 for Xbox guys, $19.99 regular retail. You had Dance Central released in the beginning of the week for $9.99, and these are all digital distribution games. It's been a great week for digital distribution for Microsoft, and it could be topped off with Destiny next week. I think that it is the future, and the discounts and things that they can offer is right there for the taking. So, I was watching my son play with my controller and trying to put my Turtle Beaches on the other day. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, this kid is only going to get older, and he's growing up in the age where technology is like the future. For us, we grew up on the Super Nintendos, the Genesis, the Master Systems, the PlayStations, and things like that, where, we saw the polygons. You know what I'm saying? We saw the cuts in the corners, and you only had one man. In today's age, the polygons number in the millions, in the thousands, and he's going to grow up in this age where things seem so realistic, and he's going to want to play these things early. And I said to myself, do I let my son play? Do I buy him the next Xbox when he's old enough? Do I get him the next PlayStation when he's of age and he understands what he's doing? Or do I treat him, like some of the other parents that are too stern and buy him like a Leapfrog or a VTech and say, you're going to play that till you're 12? You know what I'm saying? Because I think about when
that's a horrible life.
It is a horrible life, I think. I just think about when I was a kid and my mother bought me a Super Nintendo and I was cracked out on Super Mario World. Everything about Super Mario World was amazing. From Yoshi to that chocolate city, they had Triceratopses in the game. It was excellent. It was innovative. Koopa flying into the screen, spinning on the top. It was just a great game. So I was cracked out on it. That and Donkey Kong, as well as Star Fox. I'm on a Nintendo rant right now. But my thing is, when is it appropriate to let your kid play games? Because I feel like, for me, it messed me up in school. My concentration was completely on games, and my grades suffered for that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm scared to let him do that, but I don't want to be a hypocrite because, I grew up differently and things like that. I want him to enjoy his games too. So what are your thoughts on that, Unified?
Well, you guys, man, I got, 3 kids, man. I got a dog and 2 cats. And, I'm not going to let them, play any games until they're of age. Nah. I don't got any kids, you guys know. But, hey, in my opinion, if I did have kids, I got to look at this like that, right? So, if I did, in my opinion, I would definitely, like a Nintendo, man, I would let them play that as kids, as young kids. And just moderate what they play. Let them play the Marios, the Yoshis, and Kirby's.
Right.
Yeah, all that stuff. The Nintendo, kid like friendly games. But as far as letting them play like a Grand Theft Auto or some Call of Duty or some stuff like that, man, I would definitely moderate that. They would not be playing that until I felt like, and just common sense wise, that they are old enough at that point to understand the difference,
right,
between what's real, what's not, and what you can do and what you can't.
Right.
So that's kind of how I look at it.
Gotcha.
And if I had some kids running around, I could have a little bit more deeper experience. I could offer y'all a little even more. But that's about where I would sit with it. So if it happens, that's where I would be.
Gotcha. Bmuny.
For me, I mean, you guys know I got kids. You probably hear them in the background every now and again, but I have 2 boys.
And that smoke detector.
I have 2 boys. My oldest boy is 7. So if you think back 7 years, one of the hottest games that came out the year before, which was Gears of War. And, I played that game religiously. And once my son started to walk around, he would knock all the game cases down, and he'd be trying to pick up the controller and press buttons to see if it would actually do something on the TV. So he was into gaming early, and by the time he was 3, he was actually playing Gears.
Wow.
He knew how to move around. I could throw in a campaign and he could play it with me. So I kind of got him into it early, just because, he was my first son, and, gaming is my passion. So I got him into it kind of early.
Right.
And then I had my second son, and he, kind of followed suit. And, they're both gamers. They're 7 and 5 years old. They play just about everything. Gears is probably their favorite game, and then Minecraft. So for me, I mean, it was a no-brainer for me to let him get into gaming. I only let him play like on the weekends during school. In the summer, I kind of moderate it. They don't play as much. We do outside activities and stuff like that. But I grew up with gaming, and I felt like that's an essential part of being a child.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got to have something to occupy the time. When they're in our house. If they're not reading a book, man, let them enjoy themselves and dive into that world. So
right. That's cool. I feel the same way. I think I don't think I would hinder him. I mean, I think early on, I think early on I would try to do the VTech leapfrog thing at an early age, because it's the early stages. So you're trying to teach him how to read and write and talk and things like that. But I think as he got older, I think as he hit about developmental stuff. But I think as he got older, I probably would start getting him maybe a Nintendo and get him into more of the platformers. Because look, we all know that video games increases reflexes, memory, hand-eye coordination, and things like that. But like you said, B, I think, hey, having him play on the weekend makes complete sense. And if his grades drop, that gives me an incentive to use that as a punishment tool. So I don't have to worry about old schooling it like our parents did with the belt or something. He would just be upset because I took his, PlayStation 5 or his next Xbox, whatever they're going to call it, and stuff like that. So, I mean, I think those are great thoughts and stuff like that. And if any gamers out there, any Xbox gamers or PlayStation gamers out there, if you dare listen to TiC Podcast, hey, leave your thoughts in the comment section on that. If you have kids, what do you guys do Do you let your kids play? Do you let them play on the weekends? Are you a little bit more restrictive? Or are they a little bit more free? It'd be great to hear and read some of your thoughts on that. So I want to touch on something that released today from Microsoft. This genius PR move that everyone hates. I won't say everyone, but at least the PlayStation fanboys, they hate. The Destiny fragrance. This ad was released today by Microsoft, and it was a subliminal ad basically letting gamers know that Destiny is not an exclusive to PlayStation 4, and it will be releasing on the Xbox One and Xbox platforms. So, you know, a lot of people didn't like it. What people don't realize is that it's not the ad that they want people to like. They want you to talk about the fact that Destiny is going to be on Xbox. And every negative spin, everything that people wrote today in articles about how it was bad or about how it was good got, you know, the gaming industry buzzing. And gamers probably know, and if you didn't know, you now know that Destiny is not a PlayStation exclusive, that it will be released on Xbox. So my question to you guys is, do you think it was a good strategy, you know, a good marketing strategy, or do you think they just made it worse for themselves? What are your thoughts, B?
I think it was kind of genius on their part. You know what I mean? You know, everybody always talks about like how Sony has like no money and, you know, they're not making games.
Right.
But whatever they paid to sign that deal,
right,
where Bungie cannot, you know what I'm saying, speak anything about the Xbox, can't even, you know, anytime Bungie slips up and says anything about the Xbox, they have to retract those statements and remove that. You know, Sony paid some money to keep Bungie and Activision quiet about.
Yeah, they had a stash for that
game. Yeah, they had to, you know what I'm saying, to keep them quiet on the Xbox front. So, but I think it was genius by Microsoft's part. You know, they can't really advertise for it. They can't really speak on it as far as the game. But for them to put the fragrance out and kind of get the industry buzzing, people are talking about it. You know, you kind of let gamers know, hey, you know, come next Tuesday, you know what I'm saying, Destiny's going to be on the Xbox too. So, you know what I mean,
right,
get in line and pick your copy up. So,
right,
you know, they did what they were supposed to do. You know what I mean? They you know, got shot in the foot by not being able to advertise the actual game. So, you know what I'm saying, they took the backdoor route, and hopefully it works out for them.
Right. Unified?
Question, guys. Does anybody know how much is the fragrance? And does it actually smell good? I mean, you know, I might be all about this. You know what I'm saying? You know, I need to find out. It was funny. It was a funny move, dude.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad move at all. I mean, I think it's freaking hilarious. And it's hilarious because it's working.
Yeah.
It's working, and why we say it's working is because people are talking about it.
Exactly.
And that was the whole point of why they did it.
Exactly.
So they got everybody and their mama and all the Sony Pro fans all talking about it, you know, mostly negatively. Mm-hmm. Of course, but anything that Microsoft does
is portrayed as negative
no
anyway.
No matter if common sense says it's a positive thing, it's going to be portrayed negatively.
Right.
So, you know, that's all it is, man. It's not even worth. I'll be honest. There's people, all these negative articles and stuff. They're wasting their time.
Right.
I mean, they got nothing better to do than talk about, Microsoft released the Destiny fragrance. That's just the worst thing ever. Blah blah blah. I mean, that's a total. To me, if I was writing articles for NeoGAF or Kotaku, whatever, mm-hmm. It's a freaking total waste of time, in my opinion. But you know, I think it's great. It's a great PR move. Not a bad one. That's a good one. And it says, hey, Xbox One's got Destiny 2, guys.
Yeah.
And there's a lot, and believe it or not, there are a lot of uneducated gamers, casuals.
Yes, a lot.
They don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know. They actually think it only is coming on PlayStation.
Right.
Some people may have bought the PS4 and might have really preferred the Xbox, but because they only thought that the next Bungie game, Destiny, was coming on PlayStation 4. Yeah. So, you know, Microsoft's like, hey, guys, we got it too. We're going to get the game the same day.
Right.
you know, and I think I think it's good. It was a good move.
Yeah.
Funny as hell, but good.
It definitely was a good move. I mean, just to finish up on that, I was reading the comment sections on M4G, and the one thing that caught my attention was that people were upset because they felt Microsoft was salty at their own stunt, you know, with Call of Duty, as advertising it like it's an exclusive and everything is getting exclusive content first and things like that. The difference between Call of Duty and Destiny is that Call of Duty was always multi-platform, and it was already an established IP. This is a brand new IP, and is being advertised as a PlayStation exclusive. Even though the DLC content is exclusive for a year, Microsoft is still getting that content, but it's advertised as exclusive. So I think that letting people know, hey, the day Destiny launch, you'll see Xbox One copies and Xbox 360 copies as well. I thought it was a genius idea. I mean, my only thing was the bottle should have just been green instead of blue. You know, and they should, you know, I know the favorites is fake, but it would be pretty dope if they gave Xbox gamers who bought the game a free bottle of Destiny cologne. I think that would be pretty dope. Or Destiny perfume. That would have been pretty epic. It was definitely slick. Yeah, so as you know, Microsoft is launching in 29 new countries this month. And you know, me and a clan member had recently got into a dispute over whether or not it would sell over 1 million units by the end of the year. And listen, it's nothing against Microsoft. I think they have a phenomenal console. And this is what I initially thought until he told me something. He did some research. And I said to myself, I said, you know, I don't think they would sell over 1 million consoles between the countries that they got coming out. You know, the 29 new countries and things like that. And I said, because a lot of them were smaller territories, I figured they would probably sell an accumulation of anywhere between 500 to 700,000 units, but I didn't think they would break 1 million, but it would definitely push them to about 6 million. Then he said that the population of Sweden is over 5 million people. And I'm like, really? And I'm saying to myself, if you have populations of this size, I believe he said it was Sweden and I don't know if it was Norway or Finland. That's right. Yeah. Sweden and Finland have a population of anywhere between 5 to 8 million people. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, you know what? If you can sell 1 million consoles to Sweden and Finland,
that is crazy.
You got something going on now. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people to sell a console to.
That's a high console
attach rate. Exactly. And I'm like, Japan, obviously, we've seen what happened with the photos, which I think was bogus, the way they set that up. Clearly, people didn't purchase it retail, but it was #1 on Amazon the day at launch. It was ahead of the White Destiny PlayStation 4 bundle. So it says that they were purchasing their consoles digitally. Maybe because the Japanese didn't want to be caught dead walking out of store with an Xbox One, but they still bought themselves an Xbox One.
Yeah, because the PR thing is just not cool for some reason.
Exactly. But they did buy Xbox Ones, clearly, if it's #1 on Amazon's list. So, you know, my question to you guys is, how many consoles you think Microsoft will sell come January, when we get those numbers after the holiday season with their banging fall lineup? You got the bundles, you got Halo, you got Ori. Everybody has Connect localization now. You have updates. The console is nowhere near what it was last year. You have pretty much a brand new console ready to rock in 29 new countries. How many consoles do you think they'll sell come January when we get those numbers? Unified, what is your thoughts?
So this is just the 29 new territories, not including the U.S., correct?
Not including the U.S.
Okay, under probably under to right at close to 1 million.
Okay.
You know, you just alluded to Finland, and you know, you alluded to how many people living in Finland,
right?
And the other country, you know, being like 5 to 8 million, total.
Like yeah.
You know, they'll be doing good to sell realistically,
right?
To maybe a couple 100,000. Now that would be considered good.
Now that's quantum break territory.
Well, yeah. That is. I mean, I still think it still will be. I mean, I don't think they'll get 1 million, especially when you got that few of people living in that particular country. I mean, that's, compared to us,
right?
Compared to the U.S.,
right.
You got to equate that. You got to kind of average it out. And when you average it out, it would really be a solid stretch to get a couple 100,000 people buying an Xbox One in that territory.
That's true.
In Japan, obviously, it's not very popular, but has it ever been? Xbox has never been a popular brand in Japan.
Right.
So let's don't act like this is some crazy, off the wall thing that's happening with it not selling so well. PlayStation 4 is not even selling that well in Japan.
Right.
I mean, Wii U's outselling it, which is it's crazy, absurd.
Right.
But given that it doesn't really sell overall, amongst all of the territories that well. So, my opinion, it'll be right at close to about 1 million. And by the end of the year, I think that the PS4 will still be ahead in global sales by a few million.
Right.
That's my prediction. And I don't mean that in any fanboyish way.
Right.
I'm just giving it to you straight facts from a total 100% unbiased gamer that owns all 3 of the consoles. So that's just my opinion.
Gotcha. Bmuny?
If we're just looking at the extra 29 territories that they're going into, I would say that they would probably get 1 million, 1.5 million. I think that there is some hype behind some of the games that are coming, but you also have to look at what it costs in those territories to purchase an Xbox One. Because our currency rate is not equivalent to all those territories. So depending on the taxes on the actual unit, they could be paying almost 3 times as much as what we pay for.
That's a good point.
Right.
So you have to include that into the equation as well. But I think there's some success that can be had for Xbox. I think by January, if we're including U.S., I'm guessing there'll probably be right around 8.5, 9 million sold. I think U.S. has to be strong for them this year. The tail end of this year, I think Europe really needs to pick up for them. And if they don't get any big traction in Europe, this is going to be a long generation for them.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely agree with that. I think they have to pick up traction in the UK, in the Asia territories this holiday, and the US has to step up. And I'll be honest with you, I think they'll pick up this holiday season. I mean, they have a great lineup this holiday season. I think it'll pick up. Maybe they'll move a few 100,000 units in the U.S.
I think they win. I think they win the U.S. this holiday. In my opinion, with the game lineup they have, the game lineup trumps the Wii U's and it trumps the PS4s. That's just common freaking sense, man.
I think
that's not no bias at all. That's just common sense. They got the better games, so you gotta put up or shut up. So they should win the U.S. UK they're way behind. They were so much better with 360 in the UK previous gen. They've got to find a way to pick that up. Japan, Asia, they can afford to falter a little bit in those markets. In my opinion, I think they can afford to falter a little bit, but UK is very important.
Right. B, you were saying something?
No, I was going to say that it looks good for them in the U.S. and I think they do have the best lineups. Mm-hmm. But you also have to consider that PlayStation has sold 10 million units to date. So if you didn't buy a PlayStation already, chances are your friends have bought a PlayStation already.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you're a casual gamer and you're not looking at games like Sunset Overdrive and you're not looking at a game like Ori,
right,
and you only play the major big titles. Say you're going to buy the PlayStation because all your friends are getting Destiny on PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
You could buy your PlayStation and only play Destiny the rest of the year. And I think that's, a big thing that a lot of gamers miss is that Xbox really does have a great lineup this holiday.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think they have the best lineup out of the three major consoles.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the association with people, the PlayStation being, the most popular console, an association with like, oh, well, my friend has a PlayStation and I'm going to go where my friends are.
Mm-hmm.
That's also going to play a big part as well. So I have high hopes for Microsoft winning the U.S. this holiday season, but I'm not going to, count out PlayStation.
I think once the game releases and the whole Destiny marketing thing is done with, Microsoft can go ham, and I think they will do that with that Destiny Halo Master Chief Collection bundle that they've been talking about. Halo is going to move units. I mean, that's what people talk about. Halo is definitely going to move units. They've been very impressive at everything that they've shown. The sound effects of these new weapons are incredible. If you haven't heard the new sniper rifle, it makes you want to shoot a gun. It sounds amazing. And graphically, they've done an amazing job with the games. I can't wait to see what Halo 4 looks like at 1080p, 60 frames per second, native 1080p. By the way,
that game already looked.
It already looked amazing.
Bro.
So I can't wait. And I heard it has new lighting and everything. So, I look forward to it. I think that it's going to move units. Halo will definitely move units. I think the U.S. Microsoft is definitely going to move a couple 100,000 units, maybe more than 500,000. Come January. If you combine that with your thoughts on maybe about 1.5 mil, and the last time I heard Youssef was saying that they were possibly over 5 million. People don't think they think they're still around 400 million consoles sold, but they're not. They're over 5 million. They just haven't brought it up. I think they'll be around 7-8 million by the end of the year, but I think PlayStation will probably be around 14 to 13 million come January.
Yeah, that's a good guess.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was kind of tabulating in my head.
Yeah.
I just think to reiterate, this holiday period, I think the Xbox One definitely has the case to outsell the PS4.
Right.
Just in the holiday window.
Right.
I'm not saying just overall they're going to finish ahead of them at the end of the year.
Right,
I'm not saying that.
Right.
But
right. Well, look, it's just people. I want people to understand that, I don't remember any Xbox fans ever saying that when they come out in 29 other, countries that they were going to catch up and they were going to beat Sony. How can you when Sony's already in 49 other countries? They're still ahead by 20 countries. And no matter how you look at it, whether those countries are small or not, they contribute about 50,000 units a month. So you add that up over time, that the numbers do add up to millions of consoles. So, if Microsoft can continue that trend, if they can pick up the steam and they start coming out with some exclusives, which they truly need after Sony's TGS, because Persona 5 and Dragon Quest gave me a little itch. But if they can come up with something, obviously next year is big for them, but they definitely need to show that that Japan has their back, and that they're going to be releasing some real serious Japanese games besides Scalebound, and they have to be exclusives. And I don't mean on PC as well. I mean exclusive to the Xbox One console. If they can do that, they'll be in great shape, and they'll probably pass the Wii U sooner rather than later. So that's it for our show. Really great. Appreciate you guys for listening. We will be back next week. Oh, excuse me, not next week. We will be back in 2 weeks for our following show, which will probably be pushed to Fridays because it's Thursday night football, and football is something we can't pass up. Especially,
no, man, football supreme.
Especially here in America, we can't pass that up. So
that's right.
We can't pass that up. So we'll definitely, see you guys again soon, and have a great show for you. And don't forget to check out the latest pod shot where I talk about Core Clan and building one of the best and biggest Xbox communities on Xbox One. Holla at you guys later. We're off this planet. Peace.